I just got home from this adventure and had to write about it for you guys. I'm a new community member to the Phantom Wagon, and this will be my first, and hopefully not last, story submitted to this channel. I haven't heard every scary story video on YouTube, so I could be wrong, but I've yet to hear any involving storm draining. For those who don't know, draining is a term referred to exploring the tunnels of storm drains or manholes. I didn't even realize it was an actual thing people did. It's treated almost like a sport. Me and my bud are both named David. We both like to go on any random adventures we can come up with. We've gone through over 20 different storm drains in or near our neighborhood, located in Silver Spring, Maryland. By the way, if anyone listening is a local, I have plenty of other stories about well-known Silver Springs legends or creepy people in areas to share, many with documented proof and articles. Leave a comment if you're from my city or close and want to hear some more. It's always fun to see graffiti tags by people from the past, or to even feel like the first people to explore a specific drain with a blank slate, but nothing creepy has happened during our 20-plus explorations. That is, until tonight. If I were being honest, I've been impatiently waiting for something eerie to happen, so I'm clearly drawn to this type of stuff. David discovered a major storm drain. It was almost completely walkable without having to bend over too much as we traveled through the tunnels. He found one where we don't have to Shawshank Redemption shit crawl through like usual. This particular location was an amazing maze of twists and turns of various tunnel options. We took a bunch of photos between David's camera and my shit phone, which would explain the drastic changes in quality. Of course, like many tunnels, immediately we came upon a faded, but still in your face graffiti tag that pretty much says welcome to hell, or in this case, the hellhole. I love graffiti, so seeing a collage of shitty tags from different decades was a cool start to that adventure. I really want to say the noises I heard were only from the people above ground that could be heard faintly, or just the echo of our footsteps in running water creating weird noises. But this would be impossible because it's midnight on a weekday, and there was literally no one outside before we got in. Like I said, it could all have a reasonable explanation, but these sounds were too, the best way I can describe it is that they almost sounded like they didn't belong. Not just the noises itself, but it was separate from all of the natural sounds occurring. And I've never heard anything like it. And we've been in plenty of drains like this before with those normal noise combinations of echoes, splashes, and crap. It all started off far away, sounded like a fast wind. This wind sound wasn't steadily creeping up to me, but instead, just suddenly burst a large gust of air directly into my right ear. Keep in mind, it is impossible to be even windy down here. I wasn't even hit anywhere else, only directly right into my ear. It actually hurt. For just a second, my ear felt like it was plugged full of water. That feeling came and went pretty fast. I now have a headache, but didn't even think too much of this. I didn't feel scared, but it was creepy. And once you reach that area of a drain where you're too far from a nearby manhole to pop out of, you do feel trapped. I mean, you really are. If you are in a hurry, there is literally nowhere to escape to. I'll admit it, this kind of adds a rush to the experience. I kept walking when that wind blow happened again, but this time with some accompanying whispers. I didn't make out any actual words, but at the moment, I didn't realize what was happening. The combined air pressure and fainted muttering were now happening sporadically. I started to feel a bit uneasy. In the back of my mind, I thought I was seriously hearing the voices of people. I do believe in ghosts, but I don't always jump to conclusions, so I tried rationalizing the situation. It definitely sounded like whispers smashing in and out of my ear, but I also thought it could have been a weird side effect to a headache, or that I was just having auditory hallucinations. The noises were happening every 10 awkward steps I would take in the puddles. I called down to David to see if he had heard them, but he hadn't. David isn't too much into believing paranormal things like me, so maybe the force was more connected to me because in a way, I wanted to hear it. I don't know how that really works. I've experienced things like this before, but I've only felt emotional responses, such as an unwanted feeling of dread or even a sense of calm. But this time, the feelings were more physical than mental. It was penetrating my eardrum and giving me a migraine. Now, yes, I did feel uneasy, but only because I didn't know what was going on. This now almost rhythmic pattern of intense voices eating my eardrum lasted for at least 5 minutes, but then the further and further we got into the drains, the noises stopped. What was odd were the graffiti surrounding me during this 5-minute hellish ordeal. Every area of tunnel was coated with terrible anti-Semitic and just plain out racist and ignorant tags. What is extremely fascinating was as soon as we passed through a manhole stop and entered a new connecting tunnel, not only were these walls completely clean from any paint, but the voices and ear pain stopped, and I mean instantly. What was creepy about this area, aside from the racist crap, was its specific location throughout the entire drain system. It wasn't even close to any of the other tagged tunnels, but just in a random area of the drains deep within the tunnels, almost like it was on purpose. After walking through these naked walls, we eventually came upon one of the many options of getting out without having to pop a manhole. We walked out of the hellhole back into the stars and neighborhood lights. We looked around and realized, damn, did we travel far or what? It was unbelievable. It didn't feel like we walked that much distance. In fact, we usually feel the opposite with opposite results. Of course, as soon as we came crawling out of a sewer in the middle of fricking night in a shady part of Wheaton, Maryland, some dude was standing at a bus stop and we obviously terrified him. I started to speak out loud to David and pretended like we were looking for our dog. I'm quick to try and make myself look less shady than I already do. I've been told I give off that vibe sometimes because I always have a pull-down wool hat, visible tattoos, battle scars, a Newport in hand, and now a dirty face with dripping silk boots. I swear I don't mean to do it on purpose. I only mention this because the dude started to pick up his phone, and I was thinking, dang, I didn't even tag this time, and I'm still gonna get locked up again. But overhearing the conversation, I think he was doing exactly what I was doing. As soon as it felt like we could stick around, David and I took our time and started to try and trace above ground where we travel below. David has the technology and is also very good at mapping, so we knew where he was going, but before we made those moves, we had no idea where we were and started off in a housing complex, and the more we walked and followed our trail, we eventually figured out exactly where we were. We were now in the area of where the strange noises and ear damage were most active. That is when I started to tell David what I was experiencing there. He believed me. He's a good friend. We continued walking while looking down at David's phone, but then we stopped dead in our tracks, looked at each other, and couldn't believe it. We were walking dead center under a funeral home. I tried to rationalize it as best I could, but knowing the events that preceded this, I came to the conclusion that this couldn't be a coincidence. I think I was experiencing those creepy, painful whispers because that exact tunnel was literally crossing right through the undergrounds of a funeral home. Whenever I'd been to graveyards, which I do not do anymore, I for the most part always felt a positive vibe. But during this experience, these departed souls did not want me there. I think the offensive graffiti even added fuel to the fire, and this is why I experienced a painful ear and headache. So while nothing extraordinarily scary happened, at least from my version of what scary is, that was definitely a creepy but cool situation. As I write this, it does sound like the perfect idea for a fictional scary story. I mean, come on. Walking in a storm-drained tunnel, literally under a funeral home, and being surrounded by paranormal sounds. It doesn't get more unique than that. I'm sure a more elaborate, embellished, made-up story would be more exciting, but I think this whole discovery in general is exciting enough anyway. David and I also plan on purposely walking under the drains of a funeral home right down the block from our neighborhood. We've been in those tunnels before, but popped out of a manhole before we even reached the boulevard. If my locals are listening, that funeral home in particular is called Collins on University Boulevard. These tunnels are a tighter squeeze, but it'll be worth it, I hope. Thanks for listening. Sure, it could have all been one big coincidence. Maybe it is just an overactive imagination. But I like to stay paranormally optimistic. Is that even a real term? Whatever. Time for a cigarette. Hey guys, Phantom of Darkness is here, and I just wanted to thank so much for Dave for sending in this amazing story. It actually became a standalone story, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you like my channel, of course, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, because that's the only reason why I can even keep this channel running. Better yet, why not just share the videos, because it would mean a lot for me to support my channel and just have my channel grow, and that really helps. So anyways, guys, thank you so much, and I appreciate your viewership as always. Love you, and good night or good morning, whatever it is for you.